Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the How to Build series where I'm going through every single champion in the game, rare and above at least, and I'm going to put together a quick reference, quick build guide for new players, earlier game players who are just looking for a little guidance on how to get started and utilize their champions as they pull them. I will not be going into masteries and late game strats and builds and those kinds of things because it can get a little convoluted and specific depending on how you want to utilize a particular champion. And I want to say as a disclaimer, I'm not saying that I know best or that my way is the only way or that I know better than everybody else. I'm just trying to put this information out there for the newer players that are less experienced than I am and give you a little bit of guidance on something you can do and a direction you can head in with a particular champ. So that being said, I'm going to run through these, get your notepads ready, get ready on that pause and rewind, and we're going to jump into the High Elves with Apothecary. Now, this is probably one of the most requested ones that people ask me about. And definitely one of the more popular and better rares in the entire game as far as overall utility. So let's talk about Apothecary. Base stats, over 17,000 base HP. That is really, really nice for a rare. That's pretty substantial. Nice base HP. His defense is right around 1,000. That's fine. That'll be relatively easy to scale as well if you decided you wanted to. Base speed is 106. That's a pretty high base speed. Overall base stats are pretty above average in my opinion. I think just at first glance he already looks good. So let's get into his kit and talk about it. First skill, attacks 3 times at random. Now he's not designed to do damage. You're not gonna gear him up to do damage. This is just a very standard first skill. The reason that this skill is very important though is because later in the game, and I said I wasn't going to go into this and I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail, but way later in the game when you've progressed his masteries all the way down on the attack tree, you'll get some masteries that change the way some things happen in Clan Boss. So this is going to do pretty substantial damage to the Clan Boss way later in the game, but that is way down the line. But it's something to keep in mind. It's worth keeping in mind that he's going to have utility all the way through the game, basically. So he's not going to fall off, really, unless you pull some other champions that bring what he brings to the table and you're able to replace him. Generally speaking, he's going to have utility all the way through the game, even though this skill is not going to do you much good for a good while. Second skill, heals a target ally by 35% HP. This heal can be critical, and skilled up it gets to 50%, so it's a 50% single target heal, and fully skilled up it's on a 2-turn cooldown. Now that's a really nice heal. It's a really nice burst single target heal. It can be critical, so it can do more than 50% HP, and it's on 2-turn cooldown once it's skilled up. That's a pretty nice pretty nice little skill. Third skill, places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. So he's an attack bar booster. If you've seen my video about arena offense on how to put together a basic cleave comp, attack bar boosters are a crucial part of that. Generally, I would like them to have attack buffs as well. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not. In his case, he does not have an attack buff, but if you don't have an attack bar booster that also attack buffs, he will be a great option to use in arena offense for that purpose. But the speed buff as well is also really nice. So, and then his aura is ally defense in dungeons by 21%. So let's talk about utility. You are pretty much going to be able to use him everywhere. He's going to be a great support as you progress through the campaign, even to the extent that when you're 3-starring levels, you can run him with whoever your damage-dealing farmer is. You can run him as a support. He'll keep him healed up. He'll keep him speed buffed, and he'll pepper in a little damage as he's able to. But he's great in campaign. He's great in most dungeons. I guess not Spider so much, but I mean he's even got a little bit of utility there, and with the heal and the speed buff, if he's helping the rest of your team cycle, he could be good there. He's got the multi-hit. He could be useful in Fire Knight. He's just really great. He's a really great member of basically any team you want to put together. And even though I'm not in late game clan boss yet, he's still on my clan boss team, and I'm doing about 4 million a key right now. And granted, he's not even hitting 100,000 of that damage, but what he is doing is helping the rest of my team turn cycle so they can pump out more damage, and that burst heal comes through every couple of turns, which keeps my team healed up. So there's not really a place in the game that you can't find a use for him. So yeah, put him on all your teams if you've got him. As for artifacts, speed. We want a lot of speed on this dude. So it's probably not a bad idea to go. You could go 2 speed sets. I think I've got 3 speed sets on mine right now, and I focused HP a little bit more in my subs. But generally, the sets you're really gonna want to go after on him are HP sets and speed sets. I don't really think there's much of a reason to put a whole bunch of other stuff on him. Maybe later you can play around with some different types of builds, but I would put HP percentage on his gloves, I would put HP percentage on his armor, and then I'd put speed on his boots. And any combination of HP and speed sets you can put together that shoot his speed up and shoot his HP up, that's really all he needs. He's got no debuffs to land, so he doesn't need accuracy. You could look for some crit rate if you wanted to. I wouldn't prioritize crit rate on the gloves, but if you could find it in your substats, that would be great since his heal can crit. But 50% is pretty substantial as it is. And if you skill him up, it's coming around every 2 turns, so you don't really even need to worry too much about that heal critting. Yeah, just the stats you want to prioritize on him are HP and speed, which is really nice because he's not, on top of all the utility and usefulness he has, he's not super stat hungry, which is something you can run into sometimes with a champion who has the potential to be amazing everywhere, but they have like 5 key stats you really need to focus. For Apothecary, that's not the case. You need to focus HP and speed. If you want to throw some defense on him in the subs as well to mitigate that HP damage, but again, that's not super important. Just HP and speed on this dude, and he's going to be a beast. He's useful everywhere. So for overall rating, for his utility and what you'll be using him for, like how useful he's going to be everywhere you're going to take him, I'm going to go like 9.5, like 9.5 out of 10. Somewhere in the 9 realm for sure. The only reason he's not a 10 is because this is a single target heal. It comes around every 2 turns though, you know what I mean? So like you can't even really penalize him for having a single target heal, and at a certain point he would just be too insane, you know? I don't know that there's many champions that are gonna get a 10 out of 10 from me, just on principle, but he's definitely the closest to it I've come across so far as I'm going through and making these videos. And then this, if it had an attack buff, he'd probably be a 10. You know what I mean? Like he's one small tweak away from being a 10. But he's very useful, and he's not going to fall off. That's the crazy thing about him. You could use him forever. You could use him in all your dungeon teams, basically. You could go through and 3-star everything in campaign with him and someone else. He's going to be good in clan boss, and he's only going to get better in clan boss as you progress his attack tree and masteries. Yeah, excellent. And he doesn't need crazy artifact sets. He doesn't need crazy stats. He's super easy to build, super easy to get some use out of right out of the gate. So if you've got an Apothecary sitting in your champion box and you're sleeping on him like I did for a little bit, I pulled some other stuff I was using, so I thought I don't need to build him right now. And then finally I went ahead and built him, and of course wished I had done it sooner. So Apothecary is A+ for sure. If you've got one, build him up. He's worth your rare tomes. I don't think there's too many people that would disagree with that. So if you've got some rare tomes and you want to go ahead and get his skills up, if you can get this down to a 2-turn cooldown and knock the cooldown to this on 3 turns, it's gonna be insane. You're gonna notice a big difference in your runs. He brings a lot of utility and support to the table. So yeah, one of the better rares in the game, I would say, for sure one of the better rares. One of the better champs in general, it seems, but definitely one of the better rares. So that's going to do it for Apothecary. Hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you have any comments on Apothecary, if you think he's better than I said he was, which I don't know if I could have sung his praises too much better than I did, but if you think he's better or worse than I say, let us know why in the comments. I'm open to information. That's really what I want, is just information here for people to reference and put these champions to use. So any comments you have, drop them below, Any questions you have, drop them below. I hope this was helpful. I appreciate you watching. If you want to try to catch me on Twitch, I stream every weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/JGigs. And that's gonna about do it. So if this was not your champion, be on the lookout. Your champion is coming out soon if he's not out, if they are not out already. So that'll do it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.